the world was split between superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. But in Southeast Asia, something else was happening. A tiny nation fighting to survive in the shadows. This is the story of how Singapore built power without anyone noticing. In the brutal chill of the early Cold War, the city-state of Singapore existed at the edge of oblivion. The docks teemed with laborers, and the air was heavy with the scent of oil and fear. British gunboats still patrolled the harbor, wary of communist insurgents lurking in the jungles, while American and Soviet operatives prowled the city's alleys and clubs, hunting any advantage. Li Lin, with sharp eyes and a sharper mind, paced the floor of a cramped government office. Outside, the world saw Singapore as little more than a pawn, a port to be used or discarded at will. But Lee saw something else. He saw the city's weakness as its strength. Vulnerability could cloak ambition, and anonymity could be a weapon. He summoned his trusted lieutenant, Lim, a man whose unassuming exterior masked ruthless efficiency. "We're in the crosshairs, Lim, but we'll survive by knowing everything before anyone else. We must forge an empire unseen." They started local, turning dock workers, police officers, and telephone operators into ears and eyes for an invisible network. Lim wore slippers and rode trishaws to avoid suspicion, whispering orders to men who lived between shadows. The city's endless gossip became threads in a widening web. Rumors of British plans leaked through a constable's daughter. Russian diplomats' coded transmissions were captured by a night shift clerk at the main post office. But the world's titans were not so easily deceived. American intelligence officers approached with trade offers, veiled threats behind their smiles. The Soviets sent books and ciphered letters to would-be allies. Lim responded with ruthless pragmatism, accepting gifts but feeding each side half-truths, calculated to mislead, but never quite enough to be discarded. "What use is a pawn who declares loyalty?" Lee reminded him. "A pawn keeps the game alive by staying useful to every player." The network soon expanded beyond the city. Diplomatic staff posed as cultural attaches in Kuala Lumpur, Jakarta, and farther abroad, swapping stories for secrets in hotel bars and at embassy parties. Singaporean traders ventured to Hong Kong, Manila, and London, plying their wares and gathering intelligence, coded in the margins of shipping invoices. A crisis erupted when a cache of Soviet weapons was discovered in a warehouse near the harbor. Britain demanded arrests, the Americans pressed for expulsions, and Moscow sent thinly veiled threats of retaliation. The fledgling state stood on the precipice of ruin. In a smoke-filled backroom, Lee brokered a deal, offering enough information to each superpower to keep Singapore off the chopping block, but shielding his own agents through layers of misdirection. Lim, under the cover of darkness, bid farewell to a key double agent, a Filipino bartender, whose betrayal had saved scores of lives. "In this game, survival is the only victory," Lim told him. "You disappear, and so does your name. That's our only guarantee." The network endured. Each betrayal spawned new alliances. Every danger became leverage. Over time, Singapore transformed from a fragile port into a near-mythic fortress of intelligence, its hand invisible but ever-present in regional affairs. Superpowers grew wary, unsure whether their secrets were safe or even their agents truly loyal on Singaporean soil. Invisible empires, built on pragmatism and shadow, kept the city alive. Beneath the dazzling facade of skyscrapers and commerce, the heartbeat of survival pulsed on, calculated, clandestine, forever watching the giants that once circled, waiting for a misstep. Was it an empire or a pragmatic network of survival mechanisms? The label provokes debate, but points to a truth. Influence was exercised in many forms. Singapore's Cold War survival combined force, finance, diplomacy, and secrecy. Its story raises enduring questions about security, liberty, and the price of survival. Subscribe for more shocking stories.